Welcome to my show simply entitled Women Influencers. I am Veronica CCIM, founder and CEO of Capstack Commercial, a commercial real estate company serving the greater Orlando area. Today's guest is Monica Cataluña Shand, a fellow Florida CCIM leader and colleague. Monica was raised in Puerto Rico and as a young teen was not happy about moving to the U.S., but eventually became a mover and shaker in CRE and development in her market area of South Florida. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe below. I welcome your comments and please share with someone who can benefit from this podcast. Hi, Monica. How are you today?
Very good, Veronica. Very good.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you on this podcast because when we got a chance to spend some time in Nashville last week, I thought, wow, I really have to interview this lady. So welcome to the Women Influencers Show. I wanted to just dive right in and just ask you about how you grew up in your environment and how you got to where you are today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Veronica. So, I'm a big advocate of your podcast. I listen to it every week. It's a great motivator to listen to all the amazing stories of all the women and man that you interviewed recently, right? Robin
Webb.
Yes, yeah, Webb.
Yes.
It was
Thank you.
a great interview. So I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and we came to the United States back in 1991. Actually, my mom surprised us one day and said, "Pack your bags. We're moving to the United States." And as you can imagine, a teenager finishing high school with all my friends already accepted in the University of Puerto Rico, I just had to tell everybody I'm leaving. So it was quite a havoc. And my brother and my parents, we all moved to Coral Springs, Florida. I also have an older sister, but she was already living here in Pennsylvania. And I remember, oh my God, I was so upset. I think I didn't talk to my mom for like months. And you can
Oh.
imagine what the long distance bill was of the phone the first month. My mom wanted to kill me. But we don't realize all these things that parents do until later, right? It was the best decision that my mom could have done because of all the opportunities that provided to me and my brother being here. So I went to Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. I commuted from Coral Springs. I did my undergrad there. I got 2 majors, international business and marketing, and I did my MBA there as well. When I finished my undergrad, I was actually hired by a company that manufactured lottery terminals, the first electronic lottery terminals.
Wow.
And they hired me to be the project manager for Latin America. So since I finished college, I was always traveling to all these countries in Latin America. Then another company recruited me, which was a food manufacturing company based in Buffalo, New York. And I was there with them like 10 plus years. I was their regional manager for Latin America and the Caribbean.
Wait, so Buffalo, New York. Wow, that must have been really cold.
Buffalo, New York. Well, to tell you a funny story, my boss told me, Monica, we want you to, go up in the corporate ladder and we want to send you to the headquarters and spend some time there. And I was currently living, in Miami area. And I said, sure, of course. I mean, knowing that it's cold, but not realizing the level of cold. I could see the Niagara Falls from my office. So you can imagine the windshield factor and how cold it was. And my mom gave me a scraper that was like as big as a cooking spatula. And the first time that we had a snowstorm and I went down to my car and I'm standing with my little scraper and crying, I called my boss immediately and I said, if you don't move me back to Miami, I am quitting. I don't know how people live in that way. I mean, coming from the Caribbean, I don't think we're equipped for that.
Same with me. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and boy, whew, I know what that's like. So great.
No, yes, I can. So I traveled for all those years. I traveled almost every week of my life. I was in a different country. And I lived in Mexico. I lived in Bolivia. And when 9/11 happened, I was actually in Vegas in a food show, and it took me weeks to get home.
Oh,
And after 9/11, the traveling got so tough, and I quickly realized that this was not something that I could continue doing like this every week. And at that time I met my husband, we got married, and I have two beautiful children, an 18-year-old daughter, Victoria. She's going to LIU, Long Island University, in a few months. We're very excited for her. And Nicholas, who is 13 years old. So when I had Victoria, I said, absolutely, I need to do something. I can't continue traveling every week. So I had already my real estate license for a few years. I had already purchased a few residential properties for personal investment. And I decided to take the plunge and go into real estate. I joined a brokerage firm while I was still working. And the corporation knew what I was doing, and they were very, they had no issues. And I did that for a couple of years until I opened my own company in 2007.
wow.
And
Amazing. Congratulations.
yes, thank you. It has been an amazing journey.
And you are a commercial real estate broker, and you are also a developer.
So when I started in 2007, I was a residential agent, and a few years after, like 5 years, I quickly realized that it was not my forte, right? I had no patience, and I've always liked numbers. I'm more an analytical financial person. So I started doing commercial, and I loved it. I took my first CCIM course back in 2013. But unfortunately, during those times, I had like 100+ agents in the company. I was very busy. It was challenging year. So I took that course, and I didn't finish it until 2 years ago that I said, that's it. I am taking all 4 courses. I did them all in a row, did my portfolio, went to Boston, took my exam, and got my PIN.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
to our audience who doesn't know CCIM, and I speak about it quite a bit, it's really just a designation for the commercial real estate experts in the world. So congratulations. I want to move on and ask you about challenges. So if there was one challenge that comes to mind, what would that be, and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge, I have to say, is time management. We women like to multitask, and I do so many things at the same time. And being a broker owner and a producer is very difficult because you have to be really careful and manage your time. And I am really bad at that. So I was a few weeks ago, because this just happened actually recently, I was listening to Bo Barron's podcast. It's Bo Barron CCIM, and he was interviewing Rod Santo Massimo of the Massimo Group. And I said, oh my God, this is it. I need coaches that would solve my, when they talked about the structure and what they teach you about time blocking, time management, about AI and all those things. I said, this is it. I went and joined, and I'm working on it. And I can already say that it's going to make a world of a difference.
Oh, that's great. It's really amazing, I think, that even if we are already successful, that if we can only identify our challenges and really look to finding a solution like you did, right, it makes a world of a difference. So I'm so happy that you shared that one challenge, which I believe every business owner probably has. I wanted to ask you about influence. So if you were to talk about one thing that comes to mind that you've made a big impact on others, meaning how you've influenced others or an organization, what would that be?
I must say it has been getting my CCIM pin and the way I did it too. You know, I have agents under my company, under my umbrella, women agents that were so impacted by it, and you know that they are looking forward to it, and they're actually submitting scholarships to take their first classes. And I felt so good by doing that and showing them that it can be done. You know, I mean, we're all busy and we are all have so much on our plates, but again, time management. If you time manage whatever you want to accomplish, I believe that almost everything you know, it's doable. And when I got that pin, I remember I felt like I was on top of the world, and I want to be able to give back. I was actually super excited at the Nashville conference that we went, how they talked about the CRE introduction class. And I actually inquired on how to become an instructor for that class,
Awesome.
because I think it's so overwhelming for a residential agent that doesn't have a financial background. You know, I was lucky that I had that background because of my corporate experience and managing distributors and a division. But for someone that doesn't have that, to jump into the CI 101 and see all those spreadsheets analysis, it's overwhelming. And I've heard of people that after the first course, you know, they don't think that they can do it. And I think that that class it's going to be able to soothe that transition,
Right,
to help that
right.
transition.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it seems to me that your pursuit of excellence has made such an impact on other people that they are also wanting to pursue the same journey that you have gone on, particularly with CCIM. So that's
Mhm.
amazing to hear, really amazing to hear. So let me ask you, if there was one piece of advice that you could give to our listeners, what would that be?
You know what? I could not come to terms with just one, so I'm going to say three, but quickly. And I think that it is key to prospect, to have a CRM, and to seek help. And you know, to explain it a little bit more, prospecting is our lifeline. And the majority of the people that I talk to and my agents and other agents, we procrastinate that so much. We always leave it to the end of the day, and then we have some excuse, some emergency, and we can't do it, and we just don't do it. And if you don't prospect, you will never survive, because that is your lifeline. And having a CRM, which goes in connection to that, you know, you're prospecting, you're talking to clients. And when you're in business, you know, when you're in business, it's key to do that. Whatever business you're doing, doesn't have to be, you know, commercial real estate, anything. You have to talk to clients, to new customers. You have to prospect, and you have to have a system to save that in order to follow up with those clients, because if not, you know, it doesn't make any sense. And to seek help, we have a saying in Spanish that says zapatero a su zapato, which is, you know, you specialize in some things, you're never a master of all, and you're always going to need help in some area and some aspect of your life or your business. And to me, the answer has been to find a coach. You know, just like for personal training, I have a coach that tells me, that sends me my workouts every day, and I don't even have to think about it. I just go and do it every day at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's the same with your business. You have to seek help in the areas that you need help. And if you do that, you will definitely reach your goals.
So, to all of you out there that's listening, and if you're just starting a business, or even if you have a business that's already operating, those are some great, great pieces of advice from Monica. So, thank you for that. Okay, well, we've come to the point of the interview where I get to pass on the mic to you and you get to ask me a question. So, go ahead.
Yes. So my question to you, Veronica, is what has been your biggest regret in business?
So thank you for the question. And I don't really often think about regrets, but the one regret that I have is starting in commercial real estate a lot later in my career. So just to kind of, for people who have not really listened into this podcast, I talk a lot about my journey coming to the United States. And I immigrated to this country in 1989. And it's taken me a very, very long time, not having community, not having a real place to call my home in the beginning until I settled in Florida with my husband. It was very difficult to really find out or discover what my true calling was. But you're searching every day, right? And I think that's an immigrant story that a lot of people out there could probably connect with. But I started real estate really later in my life because, again, having immigrated from another country and having to find myself took a very, very long time. And when I started, just like you, Monica, you started as a residential agent. I did too, because that's all I knew. And that's all, nobody really told me, well, you're better suited for commercial real estate. Well, then 10 years later into my career was when somebody opened the door to me. And if not for that, I would never have discovered commercial real estate. So in some sense, I think that we are a product of our surroundings and our environment and our journey. And I always tell my kids, sometimes you just have to, play with the cards that you're dealt with, right? Because that was just how my life kind of panned out. But if there was one regret in my life, as far as my career, I think I would have wanted to have started commercial real estate a lot earlier on in my career, which is only 20 years ago.
Before.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So
likewise is the same, here. And we're so lucky. I'm so lucky that to answer part of a question that you did earlier. I was able to find my passion, which is land. I specialize in land, and is what makes me get up every morning. I love, finding raw land, talking to the cities, investigating what can you do with it, talk to city planners. And then in some of them, I've been lucky enough to be part of the developers of the development team, and to see that land, that raw land, come to fruition into a building, into a multifamily, into an industrial building it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating. And the truth is, I remember when I first got hired to list a big portfolio of land, just like you, I do land. I remember saying to that person, what excites me the most is not the fact that I was able to sell the properties, but the fact that we're able to build new communities. So it's really quite cool. But anyway, I want to thank you, Monica, for the time that you spent with us today. You are an inspirational figure. And you probably don't even realize this, because I just realized that you're going to be you're president-elect of the Fort Lauderdale CCIM board this year, and I'm president-elect of the Central District Board. So we're kind of on that same sort of journey.
Yes.
And next year we'll be working together as presidents of our district. So I'm just so very happy to get to know you, Monica. And I want to thank you for being such a wonderful guest on our show. So do you have some parting words for our listeners?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for putting this podcast together, because as I said, I look forward to listening to it every week, and listen to the stories of women that, like us, are working it every day and making it happen.
Yes, absolutely. Well, again, I thank you, and I know I'll see you soon. So take care.
Likewise. Thank you.